who are basically not able to go to receive a quality education have an opportunity. She rented a small bungalow right across from her house in her neighborhood and started with 27 kids in one class, which was just kindergarten, added a grade each year, and now the school runs from preschool, which is 3-year-olds, all the way through high school, so through grade 12, and has about 1,012 students currently. The school is located in Abbottabad, and Abbottabad is about 250 kilometers northeast of Islamabad and west of Peshawar. And it is very similar in geography to the foothills of here in Colorado. It's a little under a mile, so not quite a mile high, but subtropical mountain zone Himalayan foothill. The next slide, please. Another view, you can see people have built houses in small villages, even on the tops of the mountain. It's nestled in a valley, and the population is about 250,000 in the valley itself, which is the main town. So as I mentioned, the school was geared towards aiming for children who are largely excluded from education, such as this boy. He works in the main bazaar in Abbottabad and is working at a tailor shop. If he attends school at all, it would be in the afternoon, maybe for a government program. The country in Pakistan has you could generalize the education system as a 3-tiered system, where at the very top echelon you have the private schools, and those are pretty much accessible to about 10% of the population due to very high tuition costs. So the vast majority of kids have two options. They either go to government school or religious schools, which are known as madrasas, which I'm sure many of you have heard about. The government sector, however, is in abysmal condition because 2.9% of the GDP of the country is dedicated towards education. So classrooms are filled with, crammed with 60 kids. Teachers sometimes show up. Some schools are actually known as ghost schools, where they're written in paper, but they don't exist on ground. So that's the situation. Also, kids like this who don't go to school at all. These kids are part of the informal recycling economy. They spend their entire day rummaging through garbage to try to find anything that can be recycled and maybe earn about $1 a day. So this is a picture of one of the boys who was on scholarship. Now he comes from a very humble background. He was receiving a full scholarship from the school. This is his kitchen. The boy is the one who's petting the dog, and the other kid is his younger brother. And this was originally a Pashtun family that had moved from the outskirts near Afghanistan into the city and was able to come to our school. And average tuition for a full ride scholarship is about $300, and that includes, for the whole year, that includes tuition, uniform, transport, every single thing. So it's completely all expenses paid. Other kids come from poor neighborhoods like this, lower middle class neighborhoods. In houses like this, people have to still walk to get water. There's no access to clean water. And then they store the water in tanks on top of their house. So just an example of a lower middle class neighborhood. And one of the things that's unique about the school is in one classroom, you see these kids integrated. So you have kids coming from very, very poor backgrounds, lower middle class, and some who are quite privileged, who would just choose out of their own will to come to the school for the quality of education. The other big focus, besides low-income kids in general, is the unique emphasis on girls' education, which again, I think has been emphasized a great deal now in the press, how important it is and what a change it makes just to educate one woman. And for sure, the school has witnessed these transformative effects. Each year, the school gives the top 3 most excellent graduates from the school a full ride scholarship to pursue professional education. And just last year, we had a girl graduating from medical school in China. She earned a distinction and is now practicing medicine in a place called Haripur. It's near Abbottabad, and also has started a welfare cooperative to help other poor people attain medicines for no cost. Another girl we had just graduated as well, and she did her degree in sustainable architecture. And she went to Islamabad for her school. So these women have shown amazing potential and done really, really well. In fact, the architect is now helping to build sustainable houses for flood victims that have recently suffered in the crisis. So the ripple effects have been phenomenal. This is the front of the school. The school is divided into 3 branches. This is the main girls' campus. Basically, it runs from 4th grade on to 12th grade, and it's all girls. And then there's a boys' school, and then there's the elementary school, which is co-educational, and that runs from 3-year-olds all the way to class 3. You can see it's rented building, so the school uses every resource possible and tries to do the best it can. The front porch becomes an auditorium for school events. A typical classroom, this was a veranda, a back terrace that was converted into a classroom. Another example, a big emphasis is trying to help the kids really feel involved in the school. So all the artwork is mostly teacher-produced or the students themselves. In the back here you can see she's an 8th grade girl who's come into a younger class, I think it's 3rd graders, to hear them reciting poetry. So a lot of peer learning, giving students the opportunity to practice leadership through helping each other and also being a part of the school environment. Again, the kids participating, they're planting a garden in the spring season for the elementary school. The school has 3 languages that it focuses on. It's basically bilingual, so the kids learn English and Urdu, which is a national language. Now, many of these kids speak a local dialect, that most often Hindko or Pashto are the 2 more common ones. So when they're coming into school, Urdu, the national language, is already a second language for them. And then on top of that, starting kindergarten, they all learn English as well as Arabic. So this is an English class, and this is their rendition. They were reading the Christmas Carol, a little excerpt from Charles Dickens, so they were doing a little play and acting the story. And I think the girl in the baseball cap with Ebenezer. They do a lot of drama as well. In fact, the school has won several awards in drama competitions and produced some pretty powerful productions. This was an Independence Day celebration, and they're doing their traditional dance. These kids won an award in a district competition for making handicrafts out of recycled parts. So they used, plastic bottles, popsicle sticks, burlap, any kind of material that they could find, and did an amazing job. The creativity is always amazing for me to see. With such little resources, they're able to produce amazing projects. These are girls working on a pottery project, social studies class. They were studying the Indus River civilization of Mohenjo-Daro. And a big emphasis, every Friday the school has what's called Activity Day, where the kids try to incorporate creative projects with what they're learning and move away from the more traditional rote-based learning system. Trying to emphasize leadership amongst the young girls and boys. So a lot of public speaking activities. There's annually 3 speech competitions, one in English, one in Urdu, and then there's recitations in Arabic. This is a girl giving a speech on Independence Day. So the back porch is also used as a theater. Chairs are just brought out from the classroom, tents are propped up, and everybody prays that the weather will cooperate, and usually works out pretty well. In the back of the school, you can see those were actually bathrooms that were converted into science lab. These are younger kids, the boy and the girl in the front are leading the other elementary school kids in a gym exercise. There's an annual sports day, so the kids there is no field for sports, so the front yard it's unpaved and just dirt, but they transform it into open space just to be able to do, dances and play games, that kind of thing. These are girls who won awards for science projects in the community, and they were competing with some of these elite private schools that I was talking about, and they actually took 1st and 2nd place. These girls used a retired recycled tire to create an AIDS model showing the retrovirus. These girls did a physics project and won an award. Again, it instills self-confidence, ability to speak in front of the community, explain their project, and also learn in a very hands-on way. Here they are probably receiving awards, another team. Another big emphasis is community service. From my experience in Pakistan, volunteerism largely still remains sort of a value that is not emphasized as much, especially in the